I'm a white guy, which is exciting. Finally, a white guy doing comedy. No, I think I'm an average-looking white guy, pretty copy-paste. You know, I look like Baby Driver's stand-in. I look like your friend Mark. I look like the youngest Winklevoss brother who went to Dartmouth and didn't have any good ideas. It hurts because you guys laughed at the ones that are the truest. You know. Anyone on a date here tonight? Anyone here with a special someone? A couple people? Wow, we have some lonely people here tonight. All right. Yeah, no, I'm at a comedy show in an abandoned tunnel on a Friday. What a romantic evening. Yeah, no. I have a girlfriend, girl I've been dating since April of 2013. So, wow, time, yeah. You know how long we've been together? There have been 90 Marvel movies since I met Andrew Garfield was still Spider-Man. Do you remember that? Man, 2013 was a different time. Anyway, I forgot what I was talking about. What was it? Marvel movies. No, most of like what we do in a relationship is just like watch television now, which is great, right? Like watching television with your person is so much fun, and I thought I liked awesome television, and now I'm getting introduced to all this other stuff that I never watched before because I didn't listen to her for 4.5 years, and now here we are. Like we just started watching Downton Abbey. Do I look like a person who would like Downton Abbey? Yes, yeah, I love it. It's so good. I'm a Mr. Bates stan, by the way. No spoilers, we're on season 2. So, big into that. And I thought I liked like intense television. I thought, you know, Breaking Bad, the first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones, Jeopardy. That's my stuff right there. Right? I get introduced to Jen by this. It's a show called Chopped. AKA the reason I wear deodorant. We have some Chopped fans in the house tonight. I'm glad to hear it. If you haven't seen it, it's a show where there are 4 chefs, all of whom have dying children, who have to MacGyver a meal out of the leftover ingredients from the production staff's pantry for 3 of the best chefs in the known universe. It's like, all right, you have a half an hour to make a dessert out of mustard and used batteries. Go! They always make ice cream. Why are you making ice cream? You have a half an hour. You have 30 minutes. Do you know how long it takes to make ice cream? 31 minutes. No one can do it. No one does it. And then they stand there and they're like, all right, well, tell us why you could use the prize money. Well, you know, Billy's hospital bills are just starting to stack up. I got a mortgage on my house and, you know, working at this restaurant, hoping things will work out. Oh, great. So tell us about this creme brulee you made from a GameCube controller. How's that? And then the judges have the audacity to criticize these people. My burger was a little soggy. He made it from duct tape. It's amazing that it's soggy. How did he do that? That's unbelievable. So I recently, another graduate from University of Maryland, this past, Terps, football was good for 2 games this year. I have a job now, which is weird. They're like paying me for goods and services. I don't fully understand it yet, but it's funny because I've been working for like 3 months and I'm like, college children. You don't know the ways of the world like I do, you know. I had this idea that I was going to come up and impart wisdom like I have any, you know. I'd hope the real world would be like a video game. And not like a video game where I have like powers or like, you know, I can just turn it off if I don't want to keep playing. No, like in a video game when you talk to someone and they tell you useful information. Like, do you remember, like in Pokemon, you'd walk up to someone and be like, hey, how's it going? And they go, hey, if your Pokemon are hurt, you can heal them in the Pokemon Center. Thank you my Snorlax has been so sick. Thank you. It's not how the real world works. You can't walk up to someone and they're like, oh, this is insurance. No one tells you. I don't know what's going to happen to me if I get sick. I'll just have to go on Chopped, I guess. Figure that out. No. Real life, also, not like The Sims. Not like that video game. Everyone remember The Sims? Yes? We're lonely people. I know you know what The Sims are. Yeah, I played The Sims with my brother because our relationship in real life wasn't strong enough, and we made two brothers that lived in an apartment together, and it was really sad to just sit next to this computer and be like, all right, make him pee. Like, that was our relationship for a long time. And one day my brother's like, hey, I met our neighbor, her name's Lisa, and she has a very big house. So you're gonna marry her so we can move into that house. And I was like, done, do it, let's go. So I meet Lisa, and we get married the next day in our kitchen. Things are going great with Lisa. But like a gentleman, I had neglected to ask her age. So the day after we wed, she aged from an adult to an elderly character. So now I'm like this 21-year-old married to Betty White, and I got upset for the wrong reason, because I wasn't like, oh, that's gross. I was like, dude, what are the neighbors gonna think? Like, they're gonna know that we are gold diggers. She died there shortly after. It didn't matter. No tears for Lisa. You know what the real world is like in my experience in my 3 months of actual adulthood? The video game that most explains real life is Animal Crossing. Do you remember Animal Crossing? If you don't remember Animal Crossing, it's like, hey, why don't you come live in this neighborhood with a bunch of animals and they'll be your friends, you know? Go to the gym with an elephant, you know? Get gaslighted by a deer. Like it's like, this is real life. Not the case. Because you arrive in the town in your little cab and you get to your house and there's a raccoon outside and he says, you owe me $75,000. And the only way to get money is to wander around the town collecting seashells and catching butterflies and selling them to a store that raccoon owns. And you might be thinking like, oh, well, are seashells, right? They probably cost more in this fictional world than they do in the real world. No! A seashell is 3 cents at best. And then all your friends are like, hey, why didn't you come to my house? I'm walking around shaking every tree in the village. I gotta pay rent. All right, I'm gonna tell one quick story and then I'm gonna go. I went to a private Catholic all-boys high school because I'm privileged, and you know, some of the teachers were priests and they were allowed to hit us, and they didn't teach science. So it was an interesting experience. So my brother's name is Stephen Phillips. And there was an MLB commentator and a former Mets coach whose name was Stephen Phillips. And around the time that I was in high school, Stephen Phillips, the MLB commentator, admitted that he was a sex addict. The day I graduated from high school, my vice principal told me this story. He said he came into school one day and he grabbed a cup of coffee, and a coworker came in and he said, hey, did you hear about Stephen Phillips? And he goes, no, what happened to Stephen Phillips? He goes, he's a sex addict. The vice principal thinks about my brother, and he goes, Stephen Phillips, the Stephen Phillips, is a sex addict. And I was like, yeah. He goes, oh my God. Well, when did you find out? This morning. It was on the news. The news? How long has this been going on? For years. Years! Is he here today? Why would he be here today? You're right. So then the vice principal was walking around my school all day going, my God, Stephen Phillips is a sex addict. None of these people know that Stephen Phillips is a sex addict. And so he finds a resolve in himself to do the right thing. So he sits down to write an email to Stephen Phillips. And he says, Stephen Phillips, I understand. Sex addiction is a disease. We are a supportive community, etc., etc. Sends the email off. Thing was, the email they had on file was not for my brother. It was for my dad. My dad's name is Stephen Phillips. So now my dad gets an email from the vice principal where his children go to school that says, hey, Stephen Phillips, I get it. Sex addiction, it's a disease, all right? I know what's going on. You guys have been an awesome crowd. Keep it going for everybody else. Enjoy the rest of your night. Find something better to do on a Friday. Thank you.